Welcome to Women's Sports Weekly, where women's sports happen every day, but we talk about it once a week. I'm Carolyn.
And I'm Danielle. Women's Sports Weekly is a podcast where we discuss the latest news, explore interesting stories, and share our love for women's sports. Follow us on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok at WomensSportsWeeklyPod. Follow us and rate us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Send us an email at WomensSportsWeeklyPod@gmail.com, and we may feature your email on our Listeners Experience Zone, The Les.
If I could wear sunglasses right now and it not feel like so out of character, I think I would.
Tell us why.
I'm just so exhausted. We had such a great weekend in Chicago, which we're going to get into, but we had an early flight this past Sunday, 7 a.m. We were out on Saturday night.
You were taking shots, which is unbelievable.
It is unbelievable.
I declined several times, and I am very happy because I was not hungover. Tired? Yes, I am not functioning very well. I was not functioning at all Sunday morning when we had to get in an Uber and get to the airport.
Ooh, yeah, everything was spinning. I'm here, but I'm probably not my best self. We're going to get into the weekend and all the fun we had, but then we got home from our Chicago weekend and we're still living in shambles pretty much because we had the stuff going on upstairs of refinishing our wood. You were away for a work trip. I couldn't move all of our sleeping stuff, like our bed frame, our mattress, our dressers back into our bedroom without you being here. And so we get back from our flight and then we have to do that.
Yeah, no naps were had.
No naps were had. I need a nap so bad right now.
But I am so pumped about our wood floors. They look so good.
They look amazing.
I am so pumped about it. It makes such a big difference. So it was worth not napping and staying up and getting all our stuff back in the rooms that they belong in because I'm so excited to sleep in our own bed tonight.
Yeah, I cannot wait. It's been over a week that either of us have slept in our own bed because we've been sleeping on the couch.
Yeah, and we've been away.
Yeah, and you've been in a hotel room.
We will get into more details about the weekend in our deep dive when we talk about the Chicago Sky game that we went to. So we won't reveal too much now.
Yes.
But that's just a little sneak peek. We're tired, but it's all for good reason because it was a great time.
It was. I have my Chicago Sky hat on. You have your shirt on. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's great.
Okay, let's get into the highlight reel first. Let's start with Sydney Leroux, who is back with Angel City FC in the NWSL. After 654 days, she subbed on during the second half of Angel City FC's match against the Washington Spirit last week. It was so good to see her step on the field. She stepped away from soccer in March of 2025, and she cited that she was stepping away for her mental health. And then in November of 2025, she shared on social media that she had been diagnosed with anorexia and has been living with an eating disorder for most of her life. So I know a little bit about anorexia recovery, and I know that it can be really, really difficult. And I know especially for athletes, it can be very difficult because there is so much focus on your body and what you're putting into your body. And so I can't even imagine what Sydney Leroux has been going through, and I'm so happy she got treatment and she's in recovery and she's back on the field. Like, that is really, really amazing considering that she struggles with anorexia.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's great that she knew that she had to step away and do that because I think so many people struggle in athletics or in a lot of things, honestly, and don't know how to step away because mental health is not something that you can see. It's not a bruise. It's not something that people on the outside necessarily always understand. But to be able to put herself first and say, I'm going to step away so I can take care of it, kudos to her.
For sure. And now she's back. I'm so happy she was able to make this comeback. She's actually one of 3 original NWSL players still rostered in the league, along with Jess Fishlock and Alyssa Nair. And I think it's really amazing. And I don't think we talk about body image and eating disorders enough. And I think it's so rampant among women. Thinness is just so celebrated and there's just so much toxicity around it. So for her to go and get the help she needs and then come back, really, really impressive. Wishing her all the best. And she's just so fun to have out on the field. The fans love her. We love her. We're glad to have Sydney Leroux back.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, let's get on into the WNBA. We've got lots to talk about. First, we need to talk about some mascots.
Oh, we will have lots of mascots to talk about. But yes, first we will talk about the Toronto Tempo mascots, and then we'll share all the other mascot details.
Yeah, mascots is the theme of Women's Sports Weekly. We see them everywhere. I love them. It's been mascot overload. But the Toronto Tempo announced their mascots for their team, and it is Des and Dot. Des the snapping turtle and Dot the Arctic hare. Danielle, initial thoughts?
They're pretty funny looking, honestly. What is that? And why are there two? And why are there two different ones?
I don't know. I love when mascots feel chaotic, and announcing two and having it be the tortoise and the hare is something. It's something. It feels chaotic to me. And I'm like, I don't know what exactly their angle is. I did a little bit of research, so I'm learning a little bit more. But they look ridiculous. The eyeliner is heavy. It's giving chaos, and I kind of like it. I don't know how I feel about it yet.
I think it's cool that they're doing two. I don't know.
Let me tell you more about them. So Dot, she, her, they include their pronouns, is an Arctic hare, named for Toronto's nickname T-Dot. So Toronto's known as T-Dot. Dot is from the Arctic Circle. Also, my mom's name is Dorothy and she goes by Dot. So I kind of like that. I do have an affinity towards it. The press release from the Toronto Tempo says she brings seemingly endless energy, acrobatics, and enthusiasm to everything she does, making her the undisputed hype woman of the pair. Now, I also did see Dot do some dancing, and I will say that the bunny needs a little bit more rhythm.
Ooh.
Just a little bit. Might just need a little extra tune up.
Okay.
But again, if they're going for chaos, I kind of like it. And then Des uses she, they pronouns. They are a borealis blue snapping turtle from Muskoka, Ontario. Their name is inspired by Decibel, a nod to their love of music, and role as a more measured half of the duo. Des is calm, clever, and always thinking a few steps ahead. So then I started to realize, they're really leaning into the name of tempo. Mm-hmm. So an up-paced tempo and a down-paced tempo.
Yeah.
And that's why they have two. So Whitney Bell, their chief marketing officer, said, Des and Dot have completely different personalities, but they're better together. One knows when to slow things down. The other knows when to turn the energy all the way up. That balance felt like such a natural expression of tempo, and we can't wait for our fans to get to know them. So I get the reasoning now.
Yeah, I love that.
It still seems chaotic, but I do like the idea of you can have two different mascots in two different areas of the arena. They can be playing off of each other. It does make it a little bit easier, and it's interesting, something new. Welcome Des and Dot to the WNBA. Are you more of a Des or a Dot? Are you upping up the tempo or bringing it down? Like slowing things down?
I'm probably usually slowing things down.
You're more of a Des.
And you're more of a Dot, I think.
I think I'm more of a Dot.
Yeah.
Just keep on going. Even if I want to go to bed so bad right now, just going to keep on going.
You're really playing into this.
All right. That's it for that. Let's get into our next highlight. Nneka Ogwumike announces her retirement from the WNBA.
Nneka has been playing on the Los Angeles Sparks this past season, and she announced last week that it will be her final season in the W, and she's been in the WNBA for 15 seasons.
It's wild. She is 36 years old.
Yeah.
So she's our age, which is pretty incredible. She looks great. I don't think she needs to retire, but I don't think anyone needs to retire. I don't want anyone to ever retire. And she ends her career as a one-time MVP, an 11-time All-Star, an 8-time All-WNBA selection, and she will finish 4th all-time in points and 3rd in rebounds. She also won a title with the LA Sparks in 2016.
And along with her playing, she's the current president of the WNBA Players Union, and she has been for the past 10 years. So 10 of her 15 years playing for the W, she's also been the president of the Players Union, which is incredible.
She steered through 2 collective bargaining agreement negotiations in 2020 and 2026, and she really took this league to the next level, and they call her Madam President, and I am wondering if maybe she has her eyes on a different job. Do you think you know what job I'm thinking of?
No, what are you thinking?
I think maybe she may have her eyes on the commissioner's role. Like she might be thinking that Kathy Engelbert might be on her way out, and maybe that's a job she wants. It wouldn't be a job I want. I think it's a really tough job. I think the NBA has really a tip on the scale and then uses Kathy Engelbert as their scapegoat for everything. But I do think it would be very cool to have a former player and someone who knows the union side so well. And maybe the WNBA could use it to their advantage. But I was like, maybe she's got other ideas.
Yeah, that'd be actually really interesting if she did take that job. I'm curious to see if that will happen. But with that said, she does have something else lined up. We've talked about this in a past episode, Project B, which is set to start in January. And she's signed with them. So who knows what her future holds. Right now, she's going to be going into that, right? So I don't know. Can she handle both? Would she stop playing and then pivot? I know this is all speculation.
Yeah, that's a good point. I guess with her commitment to Project B, I wonder if that's something that she's definitely going to do now come in January, now that she announced her retirement. You would have to think she put some thought into, like, I don't think she just decided to retire on a whim.
Yeah.
So maybe this is her way to still be active in the league and then within Project B continue to make money, get to travel a little bit. I don't know. It'll be very interesting to see. Okay, moving right along in the highlights. Let's keep it going.
WNBA All-Star 2027 host city was announced, and they are going to San Francisco, and the Valkyries will host the All-Star Weekend at Valhalla.
I think that's so cool. I said to you and our friends this past weekend that I want to go. And then I was like, no, I don't think I want to go.
I want to go watch the Valkyries play there. I don't necessarily think I would want to go to All-Star Weekend, just given I like regular season games and I think it would be chaotic and we wouldn't actually get into anything and it would be crazy. But it will be really cool for the people who live there.
So cool. I think All-Star just brings in everybody and then it just creates this great weekend. But yeah, I do feel like it's kind of chaotic and I'm like, we do need to go to Valhalla, but I want to go when there is a game, like you said. But it's going to be so cool to have it there. And they're going to be in their third season and they're already hosting All-Star because they're doing so incredibly well and they have such amazing fans.
Definitely.
Okay, and then our last highlight of this week. It's not hockey season, but the PWHL Walter Cup is missing. Do you know that?
No, I did not know that.
Okay, so the official Walter Cup, which was presented when the Victoire beat the Ottawa Charge in 4 games to win the PWHL championship in May, is housed in the Hockey Hall of Fame in Toronto. However, each championship winning team is issued their own version that they're able to take around, and now Montreal's is missing at the time of recording.
Jeez.
It was getting shipped to a player who was going to do their homecoming with the trophy and do a whole event, and the trophy just didn't show up.
Uh-oh.
The PWHL said in a statement that we are working closely with the shipping company to locate it. I know that I've had stuff get lost in shipping, and good luck trying to find it. There's somebody out there with that Walter Cup drinking out of it.
How does it just get lost? Exactly. It's somewhere. Someone has that.
And with the Stanley Cup and men's hockey, they have people who are like, that is their job, that they go around with the Stanley Cup so it doesn't get lost. And we might need to do that for the Walter Cup.
Wow.
I just thought that was a funny headline of like, yep, it's missing. Better go find it.
Yeah.
It's somewhere. Where do I think it is? Maybe Des and Dot. They came onto the scene in Canada and they were like, let's pull some shenanigans. We're going to steal the Walter Cup from the Montreal Victoire, bring it to Toronto, have it out at our games, drink out of it.
I think you're hallucinating. And with that, let's get into our updates for the week before we get into our deep dive, which will go into our weekend and all about the Chicago Sky vs. Valkyries game. But first, let's start with Run Club. We have Run Club this Thursday and every Thursday at 6 p.m. Mountain Time here in Denver at the 99ers Sports Bar. If you listen each week, we share a secret word. And if you share that word with the bartenders after our 3-mile run, you will get 50% off your first draft. The secret word this week is Sky.
We also need to take this time to ask you to please rate and subscribe to our podcast. We love to do this podcast. We want to continue to do it, and we need your support. So please rate, subscribe, give us a positive review, and share Women's Sports Weekly with someone you love. Thank you to everyone who has rated the podcast so far. If you send us a screenshot of your 5-star rating, we will send you a Women's Sports Weekly sticker for free in the mail. Let's get into our weekend in Chicago.
Yes. So I was actually there for work prior to you and Lex and Sarah coming in. So I was there for pretty much the whole week. Flew in Monday night, got home this past Sunday. So it was a fun week for sure. For work, I stayed outside of Chicago, closer to O'Hare Airport, so I got a little suburb action. And then when you came in, you met me at the hotel, which you never do. I always want you to meet me at a hotel when I have work trips or like come with me, and it's never happened. So it was so exciting to wrap up my work trip, and then you showed up, and it was so fun.
Yeah, I felt like Trinity Rodman knocking on Ben Shelton's door, like, I'm here.
You did say you felt like a wag.
I did. It was awesome. That was on Thursday when I flew in to meet you. And then we trained into Chicago together, which was great. We dropped off our stuff at our Airbnb. And then we went to lunch first at a Mediterranean restaurant. Ate all the hummus.
Yeah, it was a really cool restaurant as well. There were a ton of plants inside. The lighting was awesome. It was really pretty. It was on a rooftop. So we had a great lunch. And then I had it on my list. I wanted to go check out the Guinness Brewery in Chicago because it opened up a few years ago and we tried to get in and it was too packed. And we got in. Baltimore also has a Guinness Brewery and they have a beer, Baltimore Blonde, but you could only get this blonde Guinness in Baltimore and they had it on tap. So of course we had to get it. And it was just a cool brewery. It was a Thursday afternoon, so there weren't many people in there, but it was a huge space. I was just happy I got to go, and I got a really cool Guinness Notre Dame long sleeve that I'm pumped about.
Yeah, it's really, really cool. And we love a Guinness. We've been to the one in Ireland as well.
Yes.
So we're making our way, and that was really nice to just get some time together. And then Lex and Sarah came in and we were staying with them at the Airbnb, and we went and got dinner that night at a place called Monte Verde in Chicago, and it was so delicious. Italian food. It was amazing.
Yeah, it really was. We got a bunch of plates to share. The pastas were amazing. The apps were amazing. Everything we ate was incredible, and I could eat that every night.
Same. And it's hard to find good Italian pretty much anywhere, but it was really awesome to be able to get to eat all of that and just start off our weekend so great.
For sure. So then we woke up Friday morning. I was so excited to go on a run in Chicago. I have run the Chicago Marathon in the past, and I just know how pretty it is. And being on the water, like, I love when I have an opportunity to run on the water. And you agreed to come with me, so I was even more excited that you were going to come and explore the city with me.
We did 6 miles. I'm really proud of myself for that.
Yeah, and I always say, and you even said it on the run, the best way to explore a new place is on foot, because running versus walking, you cover more ground, and you're just on a mission to run and sightsee. You're not stopping in and out of places.
Yep.
We stop and take a lot of pictures, which I love to do. I call it my tourist runs. But we ran to Millennial Park. We stopped and saw the Bean. We saw the Bean twice that day. I love the Bean. Every time I'm in Chicago, I visit her. She's awesome. And then we ran on the river. There's a river walk, which got really packed later that day, but in the morning it was runnable. And then the river connects to the lake, and then we were running on the lake for a few miles and then back downtown, and it's just so pretty.
It was a beautiful weekend in Chicago. The weather was amazing. The river's beautiful. Yeah, I really, really fell in love. I've been to Chicago before, but I really fell in love with it this past weekend. I felt like we just saw a different side of it, or so much more to it. And it always just helps when the weather is 10 out of 10.
Yeah, and we just had more time in the city, like a few days. We weren't cramming everything into one day. And yeah, you couldn't beat the weather. So it was really great. And then after our run, we went back, got changed around, and then the four of us did some exploring around the city, visited the Bean again. We were walking along the river that afternoon. We got lunch. This was prior to the game on Friday night. So we had a nice little day just exploring downtown and seeing different things.
We got back to our Airbnb and we started to get ready for the game, and this was my first WNBA game. It finally happened, everybody.
I still can't believe that. Yeah. So as a reminder, last year we were supposed to go to Chicago with Lex and Sarah, and we never got there because of bad weather and flights got canceled. And it's just really hard to believe that you haven't been to a WNBA game yet.
It's very strange. I've done Unrivaled. I've done a million Final Fours, but this was my first WNBA game, and it was like everything I could have hoped for and more.
Yeah. And Carolyn, you have a weird thing with mascots, and it just happened to be Sky's birthday. As you can see, if you're watching, Carolyn's wearing a hat that was a giveaway at the game.
Love it.
The Chicago Sky's mascot is Sky, so they were giving away Sky hats, and literally every game break was about Sky and her birthday, and there were a million other mascots there celebrating the birthday. I was like, what is happening?
Yeah, the Cubs mascot was there. The
Bulls.
Chicago Bulls mascot was there. The NWSL Chicago Stars mascot was there. Weird looking mascot. Then they had Scorch from the Phoenix Mercury was there. And then Bernie from the Miami Heat. And he was a weird dude too.
Yes.
There were some weird mascots there. I really like Scorch though.
Mm-hmm.
Scorch came and took a picture with us, but they were doing musical chairs. It was cool to have that many mascots because they could be all over the place and just interacting with fans everywhere. We had a blast.
Yeah, and we were just a few rows up from courtside, so we were behind the Valkyries bench, and we got to see a lot of the action close up, I will say, which was awesome.
Yeah, and shout out to the Chicago Sky because they were the one who gifted us these tickets and just made this experience so amazing. And yes, as you said, we were right behind the Valkyries. We were pretty much in their huddle and got to see everyone very close up. And you got to see Gabby Williams and Veronica Burton, and everyone's just so muscular and strong. We were just in awe.
It was really cool. And I also caught a t-shirt. You know I love free merch, so not only did we get hats, but I'm also wearing my Chicago Sky t-shirt.
That was thrown and you caught it.
There was a bunch of people throwing t-shirts, and I had my Everyone Watches the WNBA shirt, so I was bright orange, and I was like waving, and the guy pointed at me and he threw it, and it was a perfect throw.
It was.
And I caught it, and I was so excited. It was just a really good game. It was a lot of fun. It was cool environment. I will say it seemed a little empty at first, but it really did fill in. I think Friday nights are probably hard, people getting from work, and man, it was a good game.
I just also want to shout out the staff for the Chicago Sky, the hype team. They were awesome. Really into it the whole game, getting people involved. I was just really, really impressed by that all. But let's get into this game a little bit and talk about the stats of it, not just the mascots who were there.
Yeah, definitely. So the Chicago Sky did beat the Valkyries in this game 73-70, and Sydney Taylor hit a game-winning pull-up three-pointer with just 1.6 seconds left to seal this win.
It was sick.
Yes, it was awesome. She had a great game. Taylor scored 14 points, and this included a tying three with under a minute left before hitting the sidestep game winner over Veronica Burton. This could have ended poorly for Chicago because they were up 21 points at one point, and they really blew the lead and almost lost this.
So this is where I was struggling a little bit because I wanted to see a good game. So the Sky went up big, 21 points. And I was like, are the Valkyries, they already made it to playoffs. Are they just going to be like, you can have it? I kept saying, let's go to overtime. That's what I want. In my first WNBA game, let's go to overtime. But I don't think overtime would have favored the Sky. And I did want the Sky to win. And so the Valkyries storm back, and I'm like kind of cheering for the Valkyries because I want a good game. And then it starts getting close and I'm like, okay, I'm back on the Sky. That's who I want here.
And it was cool to see them win on their home court. So I am happy for them to win that game. Your girl, Natasha Cloud, had a great game as well. She led Chicago with 17 points. She was a perfect 5 for 5 from the 3-point line. She was just crushing it out there.
You can't hear the commentators during the game when you're at the game. And so I was like, I don't think she's missed a three yet. And then she hit another one. And I'm like, I don't think she's missed a three yet. And then she hit another one. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure she's made all of her three attempts. It's just so clear how much Natasha Cloud loves the people around her and how much the people around her love Natasha Cloud. She talks to the staff. She's holding Camila Cardoso's hand when she's going through a tough time on the court. It's just so evident to me. Every city loves her when she's on their team. I just love her. I love her. I say it all the time.
Yeah, so really happy for her. And then you had Camila Cardoso, who added a double-double. She had 14 points and 10 rebounds. And then you have for Golden State Valkyries, Letitia Amihir, another former Gamecock. It was really cool to see her have a great game. She scored 16 points and was a perfect 7 for 7 shooting.
I love to see her do well. I loved watching her at South Carolina. I feel like she's just this quiet presence person who puts her head down and does the work. And I'm glad to see it finally going her way and a spot on a team.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you had Caitlin Chen, who nearly sealed it for the Valkyries because she had 5 straight points late in the game to give Golden State a 70-67 lead, but they could not pull it off. I clocked Carla Berube sitting courtside opposite of us. For those of you who don't know, Carla Berube played for UConn under Gino. Then she was coaching at actually a Division III school, Tufts, that when I was coaching Division III, I met her for the first time when we played them, and they won the national championship that year. Then from Tufts, she coached at Princeton, where Caitlin Chen went. Then Caitlin Chen for her 5th year went to UConn. And now Carla Berube just accepted a position at Northwestern. So it made sense why she was at that game. And the reason I say this is when Caitlin did score those 5 straight points, Carla Berube was so excited for her. You could just tell, smiling ear to ear in the stands. I love when college coaches come to the WNBA players' games to see them play.
And it's amazing to see Caitlin Chen, Ivy League player who went and played her final year at UConn, to now be in the WNBA. And she was like, the ball was in her hands at the end of the game because she was so on.
For sure. Really cool to see. That does wrap up the game that we wanted to talk about. But one thing to note is it was really sad because Gabby Williams for the Valkyries did not look okay during the game. She ended up leaving early in the second half and didn't return. And she finished with 2 points, shooting 0 for 6. We all looked at each other and was like, she just does not look herself at all. So I don't know if she's hurt, if she was sick, or what's going on, but I'm hoping whatever it is, they figure it out and she's back on the court soon.
Do you think she was at Babes like we were at Babes?
I don't think so.
Maybe ripping some shots before a game?
I really don't.
Oh, it was just us. Got it.
Yeah, so, and then after the game on Friday, we hit up a bar near the stadium. We ended up seeing the head coach from the Chicago Sky at the bar.
Hold on,
we walked out with him.
Can I just set that up? So we didn't know he was there.
Yeah.
And he was sitting right next to us with it looked like his family and maybe some friends. So this is the head coach for the Chicago Sky, Tyler Marsh. They just had a great win. And we're with Lex and Sarah, and they're seeing some friends that live in Chicago as well. So there's kind of a big group of us, and we're getting ready to go. And Lex and Sarah are like, can we get a picture with our friends? And I'm like, yeah, I'll take a picture. So I'm taking the picture of the 4 of them, and I look in the background, and I see a man who looks very familiar to me, like trying to get out of the picture. And I'm like, that is the head coach for the Chicago Sky. And so I was like jokingly like, oh, yep, coach is in the background of this one. And I just took the picture. And then everyone looked around and they were like, oh, hey, good game. And that was kind of all we said to him. Didn't want to be too much in his business after I mistakenly had taken a photo of him. But good time to see him after a win.
And then we ended our trip basically on Saturday before flying home Sunday morning. Saturday was a lot of fun. I went for a run again and saw more of the city. Then you and I got some coffee and mini croissants at a place nearby. And then that afternoon, the 4 of us went on an architect tour on a boat. So we got our boat in. We got some history in. You love a tour.
I do love a tour. Do you have a fun fact that you remember from the tour?
The river is on average 22 feet deep.
What else was there?
There's a building in Chicago that was built by a woman, and it's the tallest building in the world, designed and built by a female architect.
Good job, Danielle.
I remember the lady facts.
Yes, lady facts are great. One of the buildings can sway with the wind 18 inches in either direction and still keep its structure.
And the tour guide said that sometimes, I don't know if this was true, but said that people at work have said that on windy days they've seen the water in the toilets moving back and forth when it's super windy. And I'm like, I would never want to work up there.
I hate that.
Yeah.
But the architecture in Chicago is really amazing. It has a lot of old Art Deco buildings and then newer architectural design buildings. And there was one building that was like an inverted skyscraper. So it looked like a skyscraper on its head. And the bottom of the building was only 40 feet wide. And then it went up into like a lot wider. And so, yeah, we learned a ton. I loved our tour guide. I love being on a boat. I am getting more motion sickness than I'd like as I get older, which I'm not a fan of, but it was really, really cool. And then we had amazing pizza after the boat. Do you remember what that place was called?
Zarella's.
Oh, Zarella's. Oh, it was so good.
Yeah, it was a really cute tavern. They just had 3 beers on tap. It was like very to the point, but done very well. And they had thin crust pizza and regular tavern pizza. Oh, so good.
It was delicious. Also, great decor in there.
Yeah.
Really nicely decorated with matching the vibe, which I always love. We just had so much fun. And then that night we went out for the night, which is why I'm so tired right now as we record. But we went to a women's sports bar called Babes and we were obsessed. Shout out Babes.
Yeah, I loved it. The lighting was awesome. All the decorations were awesome.
Yep.
It had a very much a feminine touch, but also only played women's sports and also had a lot of sports memorabilia and felt very vibey, and they had cocktails and beer, and it was just really cool.
And it was packed, and in the bathrooms they had a disco ball. You just could tell that so much thought was put into everything they did. Yeah. The community is there to support it, which I just was like, this is so cool.
Yeah, it was like packed the whole time we were in there.
We loved it. We went out a little bit after that as well, and then we finally made our way home. Tried to get a DoorDash. DoorDash never came.
Yeah.
I called it quits. I went to bed. I was like, I gotta get up for this flight.
Yeah.
I won't eat. It's fine.
Me, Lex, and Sarah were walking the streets in our neighborhood for probably 30 minutes at 1 a.m. looking for our DoorDash that we could not find. So that was unfortunate.
That is unfortunate, and I'm glad you 3 are okay. Just like walking around in Chicago at 1 a.m. in a city you don't know.
I know. We really were just walking a circle in our block because we were like, it can't be far from here, but it just wasn't there. So
the food must be somewhere. It's such a bummer when that happens.
I know.
But what an amazing time. Redemption tour of Chicago. If you listened to our episode last year where it was just like one bad thing happened after another, this was really one good thing happening after another.
Yeah, I think we were all waiting for the ball to drop at some point and it never did. So
yeah, if the worst thing that could happen is that our food did not get delivered, that's a great weekend.
Absolutely. So shout out to Chicago. If you're ever there, we recommend going to all the things that we went to and seeing all the things. It was incredible. Check out a game there. If you live in Chicago and haven't been to a game yet, definitely go.
Gotta go.
I won't say this will be my last Chicago tour, I'm sure. I love Chicago. I'm sure I'll be back.
Yeah, I'd be down to go back anytime.
Absolutely. So with that, what are you looking forward to this week, Carolyn?
Let's get into the NWSL. On Friday, August 28th, the Portland Thorns will take on Gotham at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on Prime Video. Check it out. What do you have, Danielle?
Moving back to the WNBA, I'm looking forward to the game on Sunday, August 30th, when the Minnesota Lynx will play the Atlanta Dream at 3 p.m. Eastern on YouTube TV.
Woo!
That is it for this week. We will see you next week on Women's Sports Weekly. In the meantime, watch women's sports and share the podcast with your friends. Rate and subscribe to the pod on Spotify, Apple, and YouTube. Thanks for joining us.
Bye.